welcome to Mount Panorama tonight for the Australian Sports Sedans season number 12, round 3 of their 5-round championship. And we're heading to a big one tonight, a 1-hour endurance race for the drivers and a quick 5-lap sprint to start off the night. So 2 race formats still, but one being the extra long race tonight. Let's race straight down to the racetrack and see who's out there, who's doing some laps in this quick practice session. Just a 20-minute practice session to lead us into tonight's race. And well, we've had 2 fantastic events already, and here we are, round number 3, Bathurst, the what is ultimately the best racetrack here in Australia. And Eddie Metz out there tonight for Eddie Metz Racing, the 57 Mercedes. What can he do tonight? Currently 13th place, just with Medson and McDougall around him. Dexter's there as well. Ash McClurkin tonight out on the racetrack. There's Ash, and I've put a little in brackets, a little initial next to their names tonight in the left-hand column, so you can see when it's McClurkin A, that's Ash. When it's McClurkin R, that's Ran, who's just out on the track too. You can see Ran with a little R next to his name as well, so that should help just clear things up a little bit when they're both out on the racetrack in close proximity. Welcome, Keith. Thank you for the stars, and hello to you, my friend. Hello, Cher, as well. Voice sounds okay tonight. Yeah, it's I think I'm back to full spirit again now, although very, very tired. I'm feeling good in the voice box department, that's for sure. So yeah, only about 7 minutes to go in this practice session. Then it's a quick qualifying session, which then rounds them up for the sprint race, 5-lapper to kick off the night, then reverse grid, full reverse grid feature race tonight, 1 hour with pit stops included. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Luke Crumb's out on the track now as well. Lockie Barlow's there, just all setting some quick times. We'll crank up the sound of these cars tonight, and let's get ready for some action. Mount Panorama, it always delivers, of course, and where else would you want to be on a Wednesday night than watching some Australian Sports Sedans? All these people that are driving tonight connected with the Australian Sports Sedans either through being a real-life racer, owning a car, or being pit crew, or just a damn amazing fan. So there you go. And a big thanks tonight to DBC, which is Dandenong. Oh boy, golly, scared the Jesus out of me. I was looking somewhere else and I saw a Lockie Barlow in the corner of my eye, smashed straight into the fence there as we look at Sam McCollins. But tonight brought to you by Dandenong Brake and Clutch. Big thanks to Dandenong Brake and Clutch. If you're down in that area and you need anything done mechanical, go and see the crew over there at DBC, Dandenong Brake and Clutch. They'll look after you and get your car tuned up and feeling fantastic. Benjamin Roberts is gone P2 now. Brock Schaefer is back again, and he's hit the top of the times now by just over 1.3 seconds. Pretty incredible. And hello, Ren. Welcome tonight. We're at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, for a 2-race format, quick sprint, and then an hour enduro. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be chaos, isn't it, at the mountain? The guys are already like a bit nervous, so I think we'll put a good show on.
What's the feeling in the camp as far as the setups around here, all that sort of thing? Have they been doing a bit of work to try and fine-tune these cars?
You can tell who's been doing a bit of work because they're all up the front. But I'm surprised to see Kai here. He's been not in many of the practices, but look, he's straight on the pace to a degree. But Brock, holy crap, 1.4 in front. That's pretty impressive. Brock, Benny, Ryan, those guys have all been quick. H has, Jenna has. And then it's sort of all gone down from there. There's a pretty big spread here, being that it's such a long lap. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
And last time we talked, there was chat about whether or not you would include fuel strategy for the feature race tonight. Have you done any limitations on fuel tanks?
Okay, so we've got 50% fuel tanks for this round. So the 5-lap race, obviously you'll be fine, but for the 1-hour race, the guys are talking about some may be able to do it on 1 stop. Most will need 2 stops, from my understanding. I will admit I haven't done any practice runs.
Yep.
I haven't had time, and a few of the guys haven't, but the guys up the front have. They've been testing, and I actually I had it hot weather, and some of them been testing in the hot weather, and then last night I changed it again just to confuse them. So it should actually be a fairly cool weather race.
18 degrees at the moment, so.
Yeah, like I was going to make it all kind of chaotic, and I was actually even going to make it dark towards the end of the race, but then I thought you might yell at me, so I've left it just standard. So we're just racing in the morning. So
5:52 a.m.
Yeah, I thought that there's going to be enough of a challenge with the second race being reverse grid, with the big time splits and things like that, but without throwing darkness and hot weather into it.
Fantastic. Well, it's looking good out there, and 18 degrees track temp, 18 degrees ambient, partly cloudy. Perfect conditions for Mount Panorama, and we're going to see times maybe go sub 2 minute as well, looking at Brock Schaefer there. Tell us about qualifying, because it's a very short qualifying session, so if you get it wrong, you're going to be in a bit of trouble here in quali.
Yeah, well, I thought we've got a long race. I nearly didn't do qualifying at all. I was going to make it so that the first race was like qualifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably only going to get one flying lap for qualifying.
It's like almost like a shootout. That's cool.
Yeah, look, as I said to the guys, I said we could make everything the same and we'll just get bored of it, or I can throw a few little curveballs in and you're all big boys, so you should be able to deal with it. So yeah, qualifying and those results, obviously, we have a 5-lap race with a standard grid, and then that grid will be reversed for the 1-hour race.
Awesome. Oh, look.
So I think, yeah, well, it's going to be good because people like Brock, say down to say the top 10 for, who are all within 2 seconds of each other at the moment, but especially say the top 5 or so, they're going to have to be patient. And then the guys like myself and PJ and maybe Michael and Ash and things like that will have to be, we can't block too much, but it's going to be hard work for us up the front. Then the guys in the middle are stuck in the sandwich, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah,
reverse grid at Bathurst always can be a headache for some, but there's going to be some very quick drivers having to, I guess, push their way through. A bit of patience will be in order, of course, being a 1-hour race. And you're going to see, looking at the times now, you're going to see probably Schaefer, Robert, Simpson, Jenna, all those guys having to carve their way through the field. I tell you what, Ryan Simpson's been pretty good at keeping out of trouble. Last week noticed that he could avoid a couple of pile-ups to then sneak through.
Yeah, and actually it's interesting, Benny let it slip that I think he and Brock and maybe some of the other guys are actually happy with starting down the back because they reckon they can conserve some fuel.
Okay. Yeah.
Slipstreaming and just taking it easy for those first couple of laps, and that might give them enough to be able to one-stop it. So it's interesting, there's already some, strategies going on with the fast guys on how working from the back can work for them because they know they are a fair bit quicker.
Cool. Well, that's good. I'll be watching out for that pit lane strategy, obviously. Eddie Metz out there tonight, and also big thanks to Dandenong Break and Clutch.
Well, I know. Should we drag him in and see what happens? Eddie can get pretty far.
He's got 30 seconds before quali, so he's not going to finish this lap anyway, is he?
Nah, but let's not do that. It'll confuse him. I didn't realise there was only that much time.
Yeah.
So we'll try and drag him in at some point if we can. Otherwise, we'll just keep saying Dandenong Break and Clutch, Dandenong Break and Clutch, Dandenong Break and Clutch.
Is there a warm-up between the two races? There's a short little 5 minutes?
Probably 5 minutes or something.
See if we can squeeze him in there to have a quick chat.
Yeah, let's drag him across. So, cool. Yeah, I'm not even sure what I want to do with qualifying. I'm really struggling here. I think I've done a 2:04 dead, so at least I'm part of the pack. But yeah, it's really hard work.
Yeah, well, good luck, man. Qualifying about to get underway, and it's a quick one, so good luck for that, and good luck for race 1 if we don't hear from you before.
Cheers, and hope everyone's having fun watching us having fun.
Awesome. Good luck, Randy. Jumps across to the main room now for qualifying, and you're going to see all the drivers out on the track. Now, by the way, it's open qualifying, so they don't have the track to themselves. Brock Schaefer, I think, has got the jump on everyone as he leads them up the mountain here, and that is important. To get that track position, to get a nice open run out in front of the pack will really work in his favour. And I wonder, is that Jenna just behind him? I think it is. Oh, Jenna's 2 back. You've got Roberts just behind Schaefer, so I wonder if Roberts might just use the tow here from Brock to his advantage. Thanks, Pete. Hello and welcome aboard tonight. He says, go for it, Eddie and Marty. Send it, don't bend it. And thanks to the stars, my friend, as well, Eddie. With the stars too, 500 stars. Thanks, Eddie. 5-week streak. Hope you're doing well, man. And here we go. We're into the important, I guess, part of this first sprint race now, to do the qualifying session right and don't mess it up. If you put it in the fence now on the outlap with only a 5-minute quali, really, you're not going to get another lap in anyway. Even if you can drag yourself back to the pits, you're not going to get around and get another one in. So keep an eye on this now. The time already ticking down. We're at 1:10 into quali. These drivers just getting them down around the top of the mountain. Now there's Rand taking it quite easy up the mountain, trying to find himself some track position. Michael Falzon out there as well with Kurt Bond. Also just coming down, well, in fact, he's just going up, isn't he, towards turn 2. Yes, so he's not even probably a quarter of the way through his lap before getting underway for a flying lap. Ryan Simpson's just going down Conrod now. So you can just see from the tracker map, there they all are. And the first lead car now, Brock Schaefer, just coming down to the chase. In fact, Roberts has gone in front of him, so Schaefer's held back a little bit, and Ben Roberts has skipped ahead. So strategically well done, I would say, for Brock Schaefer to not let the Mr. Mini Muscle Cars car steal a bit of a toe off him. Right, so here we go then. So it's Benny Roberts will start over the line for this first flying lap. We'll put it into quali mode. You'll start to see some sectors pop up as they head through. And, well, you're looking for purple times, really. We'll see greens for personal best. Yellows for slower than your personal best. Neil Yates says, flog 'em, Brock Schaefer. Mark Price in the house says, hey, Luke, big night tonight. It is big night tonight. And the drivers now on their way in flying laps. Roberts does the fastest first sector. And I'll bring up some of those sector times so I can just tell you exactly where they're at, because those the first sector in particular, Roberts did a 22.45. Now that was at 22.46. 1/100th of a second was the difference between Roberts and Brock Schaefer, and there he is. He will get the advantage of the toe. 1,000 stars from Eddie, man, and 50 from Neil. Thanks, man. Thanks, Eddie. You're on fire tonight. Appreciate that, dude. As we just watch Schaefer now, and it's been 3 purple sectors for Benny Roberts, so he's looking pretty good. The interesting thing will be to see what Brock can pull back on him down Conrad Straight with a massive slipstream. I did note that Schaefer's now gone quickest through sector 4 across the top of the mountain. Brock Schaefer very quick through there. These two sharing purple sectors between them. No one else even getting a look in at the moment as far as purple sectors go. So incredible pace being shown by well, 2 guys that are really right up there fighting in this championship. But we're getting down towards the pointy end of the lap now. Roberts will lead us through into the chase first of all. Schaefer on his toe, and I think Schaefer has actually just gone a little bit slower through that part of the racetrack than he did on his out lap, so that's not ideal. Roberts will just try and finish this lap off now, and I'd say they've got a hard cut on that 5 minutes, so really you're just going to have to squeeze this one lap in, and that's it. Shootout lap style quali here, and across the line Roberts will put the first time in. It was a pretty clean lap, goes to the top with a 2:00.6, which is then eclipsed by Brock Schaefer with a 2:00.6 as well. 6/100ths of a second between them. Ryan Simpson goes P3. Jenner's gone across the line 4th. Then Collins, Hansen. Shane Nichols crosses the line now to go up there into the top 10. It's all changing very quickly. Hayden Carroll now goes up into 6th place. Rue Koistra back on form tonight, up into 8th place. Ian McDougall now 11th, with Barlow putting himself into the top 12. Here's Eddie Metz down into the chase in the Mercedes-Benz. Flat stick he goes. Now, is that enough? 56 thousandths of a second for Schaefer over Roberts. He is tight at the top. Simpson within 0.4 of a second of the leaders as well. Kai Ardley goes 5th now to stay here with Eddie Metz. He's gone personal best sectors in every sector, and we've just lost the feed to Eddie there. So, which isn't ideal. And what's happened there? So they've gridded straight up. So that was the 5-minute cutoff by the looks of things. Incredible. It gave me heart failure thinking that I've actually lost my internet feed there, but no, that was a 5-minute hard cut. So Eddie didn't even get a qualifying lap in. Interesting. Let's have a quick look at those times. And this is what they look like for the results from quali. So Schaefer got a time in all the way down to 18th. Now, did the others even get a time considered? No, they didn't. Look at that. 19th down. Did not get a time in. Let's go to the grid now for this race number 1 here from Mount Panorama. It's a 5-lap sprint race. Brock Schaefer on pole position with Benjamin Roberts P2. Look how close that was, 56 thousandths of a second. Ryan Simpson will start on the 2nd row with Brendan Jenner. Then it's Kai Ardley in 5th place. 6th place will be Samuel Collins, Carolyn Hansen with Koistra and Luke Crum rounding out your top 10. Matt Dexter starts from 11th tonight with Colin Smith in 12th position on the grid. 13th, Shane Nichols with Gretsch out of 14th, and it's Falzon and McClurkin, Ashley McClurkin out of 16th, and it's McDougall and Barlow 18th. Knockolds and Ormans will round out your top 20. Eddie Metz starts from 21st, Mark Pryor 22nd, Medson and Kurt Bond rounding out the top 24. 25th on the grid, PJ Whiteman and Ram McClurkin. Rounds out the 26th, Tony Dom will start from the back of the grid. Race number 1 getting set to roll away. Rolling start behind the Porsche safety car. Let's crank up the sounds of these cars and let's turn down the music as we hold our breath and hope we get a nice clean run down through the opening couple of corners. I reckon a few drivers would have been surprised by that hard cutoff and not even getting a lap set in quali. But let's consider this sprint race. Really, it's qualifying. You've got to try and get through 5 laps cleanly. Now, if you do make a meal of it and you end up down the back, well, you're going to start at the front for race 2. So it's a double-edged sword here as far as risk worth reward and risk versus reward, and also taking points on board, and then where you'll start in race 2 and how clean you can keep it around Mount Panorama. Obviously, starting at the front, which is the back of the grid for race 2, gives you a chance of maybe keeping your nose clean and getting some good points. Rebecca's in the house. She says, let's go, Brocky. Here we go. We roll away now. Hello, Jacob Neasley. He says, I predict carnage, reverse grid race. Send it round, says Jacob as well. As they filter their way down 26 cars into the chase, and they will hold up behind Brock Schaefer here, getting set for a green light. And the Porsche safety car will get out of the way shortly. What a field of cars. Like I say, all people connected with the Australian Sports Sedans in the real world. And tonight, doing it once again for the middle round of the championship, round 3 of 5 here from Mount Panorama, to see who we can crown a champion at the end of this all-Australian 5-race format. We hold on to our hats, we get set to go racing. Here they go, the Australian Sports Sedans. Race 1 of the night is underway, green light, and it's a good start on the outside by Benjamin Roberts. Did he get a little bit of a jump there as he heads down through turn 1 now? So far so good, side by side as they go through turn 1 and now up onto Mountain Straight. At the back, McClurkin taking it easy there. We've got a few cars, I think, in the pit lane or out of the race early on. A bit of an issue maybe for Knockolds, Pryor and Bond. Or are they starting from the pit lane? I think they may be in the pits. Roberts and Schaefer battle it up towards turn 2. Roberts remains in the lead. Look how close Brock Schaefer is. He's giving him a little bit of a bump up towards the chase we go. So Roberts leading by an absolute paper thin margin at the moment, up through the chase. Sorry, up through the cutting. Up towards Reed Park for the first time. Hold on to your hats across the top of the mountain here. Down to Metal Great we go. Roberts leads from Schaefer. Ardley's made up 2 spots. Jenna Collins, Simpson, Carroll's there with Hanson, Koistra, Crum, Smith, Dexter, Gretchen, Nichols into your top 14. Fantastic start by them. They now start to filter their way down. Rue Koistra hanging on at the moment to 9th position. We look back further to Ashley McClurkin, who's up 1 position into the top 15. He started well. And just to say that, he's gone around, he's blocked the track there with Michael Fowles and unfortunately unable to get through. So a couple of cars there stuck and rolling backwards down towards, into the dipper. They go. Now McClurkin out of the way. They clear a room through for Knockolds to go through, and Mark Pryor also just arriving on the scene. Out in front though, Roberts leads by 0.4 of a second. Into the chase we go. These 2 drivers, man, they've had some battles, haven't they? It's good to see Brock back in his fine form, but he's got to try and stay here with Roberts. Remember, race 2, full reverse grid race. We've only got 4 laps to go in this first sprint race and a 1-hour race to follow. So at the moment, Roberts looks like he's pretty good off that first lap. He jumped Schaefer off the start, just hooked it up very well and got away without any incident at all. Kai Ardley made a great start as well in the Audi, although he's just run very wide through turn 1. In the background, that was Hayden Carroll, a big wobble for him. Further back, you can see Koistra, Crum, Smith and Dexter. Overtake, I think, about to take place here with Ross Hansen. And he's got Carroll shaping to try and get past, but so far cannot do anything about it. And they maintain their 7th and 8th position. Meanwhile, Roberts still leading up the front. Let's ride on board with him as we head up the mountain. Tyres should be up to temp now, so they should feel pretty confident, pretty comfortable in what's underneath them and how it all feels. Will Wilson says, do they have the GT3 R35? No, they do not. That would be one that would be awesome to have in iRacing. They do not have it yet. Ryan Simpson on the back of Samuel Collins. Collins in the Porsche. Simpson in the Barbara Streisand nosed BMW. Having a good little scrap, these 2, as they head down through the S's, down towards Forest Elbow. And Simpson, he lost 3 positions at the start. We didn't see what happened to him, whether or not he got pushed wide at turn 1. I'm not 100% sure, but he's now got himself, I guess, heading in the right direction at least. He's now got to try and take Collins and Jenner, get those positions back. Another driver that's made up some spots is Medson back in the pack. He's behind Eddie Metz at the moment. Orderman's is there as well. They're moving along nicely. Ram McClurkin's made up 5 spots in the McLaren, the only McLaren out there in this series. And he's also starting to work his way forward in this race. He's got Tony Don just up the road from him in the All-in-One Motorsport Audi. And they're behind Gretsch, Medson, and then and Metz up there in 17th place. Crossing the line, new fastest lap for Brock Schaefer on lap 2. 3 to go in this race. Does a 2-minute flat .69. He was about 1.5 tenths quicker than your race leader on that lap as he closes right up onto the back now of Benjamin Roberts. Right on board in the BMW with Brock Schaefer. So you can just see down the bottom of your screen there, lap 1 he was 4.5 tenths off. He's just nearly 2 tenths up on lap 2, so he's turned the tables. He needs to try and get really close here if he can to the back of Benny Roberts. It's the time locked, by the way, for those that are waiting for the sun to appear and rise up over the horizon. It's not going to. It's 5:52 a.m. and they have frozen the time. Ruud Koistra in a bit of trouble. In fact, no, it's Carroll. Carroll's in trouble at the cutting and he's gone back to the pits with an escape. So I'm used to seeing that these days. So many series I broadcast now and not allowed to do that fast escape. And it catches me out now when the car just disappears. Back with your race lead battle. And you can see it's still Roberts holding Schaefer out. The gap's still 4 tenths of a second. They're starting to drop Kai Ardley as well. P3 Ardley's now dropped back about 4.8 seconds. Jenner behind him, then Collins and Simpson. Ross Hansen further back from Simpson. The gap back to him is about 3 seconds behind Simpson. You can see this the Ford and the top Ford at the moment doing a nice job in 7th place, holding out Luke Crum and Ruud Koistra. But I reckon that down the straight here, Mountain Straight, down heading towards the chase, Conrod Straight I should say, Ross Hansen may just find himself a sitting duck to Luke Crum, who goes to the outside into the chase now, hard on the brakes. I think Hansen may, no he doesn't fight it too hard, so Crum goes through into 7th place now. Job done. Across the line to start lap 4 now. It's Brock Schaefer who's got into the lead, so we have had a change on that lap. Let's have a quick look at the replay. This was the change for position. So it was down into the chase, and job well done. He got a good slipstream, and he must have been late on the brakes here because Roberts came back on the inside. They did make a tiny bit of contact there, but in the end Schaefer got a good run through. Nice job. So back to live now. We'll go back further. It's still Schaefer leading, 2 laps to go, or a lap and a half now as they head up the mountain. We look back further to Ram McClurkin. He's just on the back of, in fact, it's Barlow, then Dexter, then McClurkin. So McClurkin's just starting to catch Dexter here on lap 4. Behind him, you've got Jordan Knockholes, who I think started from the pit lane. Hence why he's a little bit further back in the order. Knockholes, for some reason, deciding that a pit lane start would be his choice tonight. So they're out at those two, which is good to see. Back with your race leaders. We'll keep an eye on all of the little battles going on. There's one with Ross Hansen as well. He's still locked together with Luke Crum after that overtake on the previous lap. Ruud Koistra just holding in behind there, also in the Lamborghini. Gee, he's racing well, isn't he? For a man that tried to singe both his hands off last week, he's absolutely on form again this week. And Knockhold's really starting to pressure the back of this McLaren of McClurkin. Watch the big flames as he backs off the throttle down over the S's, over Skyline into the S's, then the dipper coming up now. The roar of that McLaren and the unburnt fuel escaping out the back, always a pleasure to watch. Marika says, go Brock. And Spot Goddard's in the house says, hope VIPs is not in the chat. Who's Drew VIPs? I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. Anyway, we got 1 lap to go. This is the final lap of this first sprint race before we start our 1 hour feature race tonight. And Brock Schaefer's in control at the moment. And heading up the mountain, 3 tenths clear now. Is this a ploy by Roberts to hang in behind for the run down Conrad to maybe just try and sneak and overtake Dan Aldermans has gone off, has he? McClurkin goes through now in the McLaren on Daniel, puts him back to 18th place. Medson also back in 19th place. Back up near the front, you've got this little battle for 3rd place. This is the final step of the podium. The Tony Ricciardello inspired livery here for Brendan Jenner, Machine Cult Motorsports. Now he's running P3 ahead of Samuel Collins and Kai Ardley. It's getting really close across the top now for the top 2. So let's ride with him. So your race leader's coming through now, and there's nothing in it. Skyline for the last time on this first race. I think Roberts needs to be patient here. He needs to hold his position, probably till Conrad to make a move. And he got through there nice and clean with the gap. Still 0.3 of a second. They don't seem to be able to follow any closer than that. Oh, big wobble on the mid corner there for Schaefer. He lost the front end and then it snapped at the back as well. And here we go. That would have lit up the eyes of Roberts, who'll get a fantastic slipstream now down Conrad. Here we go. It's on. I'll reply to that one later, Spike, because I reckon that's a fantastic idea. For every 100 stars, I've got to do a shot. I reckon that is a fantastic idea for a stream. And it's Schaefer who's been able to hold out Roberts down Conrad. That surprises me. Will Roberts make one last ditched effort here at an overtake into the final corner? He shapes a little bit to the inside but then holds position, and it's going to be a win here. Brock Schaefer takes the checker flag in race number 1. Roberts gets second. Those two will start at the back of the grid. Jenner's going to come through for 3rd. He's on the podium for race 1 with a fantastic job done ahead of Collins, Ardley and Simpson, who will be in a good position for the full reverse grid. He'll start from 6th from the back. Luke Crum 7th tonight. Hansen and Koistra round out your top 9 with Colin Smith. Great job for the MR Automotive driver, finishing in the top 10. Then it's Nichols. Metz worked his way all the way up into 12th place. Man who has some 2-litre sports sedans in the Brillwell's done a great job. Lockie Barlow beats Dexter over the line for 13th and 14th with knockholes. Ian McDougall coming across the line now gets 16th ahead of Ram McClurkin, who edges out Orlemans, who had a spin on the last lap. Medson and Fowson round out the 20 with Pryor, Bond, Ash McClurkin, who had a spin on lap 1, finishes 23rd. Tony Don and Hayden Carroll rounding out your 25. Hayden Carroll, another driver to have a spin in that race. He'll come home plumb last, but Brock Schaefer in control takes the win, and we're going to come back shortly for the big feature race. Don't go anywhere. That was only race number 1. We've got an hour-long race coming up next, and that will be a big one. There will be fuel stops, strategy for every 100 stars. I take a shot. Let's line that up for the next broadcast. I'm keen. Hey. So we'll wait for iRacing to give us the race results. It usually takes we'll take Hayden Carroll to finish his lap before we get some results. And we'll try and talk to Eddie Metz as well. Big thanks to Dandenong Brake and Clutch for bringing you this live action on RACESTARS TV for the Australian Sports Sedans. Round number 3, race 1. So your results coming up on the screen now, and that's how it finished up. Brock Schaefer confirm your winner there by 0.3 of a second in the end over Benjamin Roberts. Then it was Brendan Jenner, Samuel Collins and Kai Ardley at the top 5. Ryan Simpson will start from 6th. And then it was Crum, Hansen, Koistra and Colin Smith, your top 10. So remember, full reverse grid as we look down to the back. The pole sitter the next race should be PJ Whiteman with Aaron Gretsch on the front row. Second row should be Carolyn Don. McClurkin will start from row 3 with Bond, then Pryor, Fowson, Medson and Aldermans will round out your top 10 on the grid with Ram McClurkin there as well. So this reverse grid will be exciting to say the least. Quick warm-up session now. We've got 5 minutes. So a 5-minute warm-up session. Robert's straight out onto the track. He wants to get as much practice in as he can. Hayden Carroll as well out there to do some laps. So hopefully we'll get a chance to chat to Eddie and Rand quickly now in this warm-up session. I may just go looking for them myself because we want to speak to Eddie if we can. I'll grab Eddie now for a quick chat. Let's move him across. Hey Eddie, you got a quick minute to talk on the live stream, mate?
Yeah,
Good. How are you feeling tonight? Thanks once again, Dandenong Brake and Clutch, our sponsor for tonight. And how are you, man? Back in the car, looking good.
Yeah, I decided to come back. I haven't touched the sim this year at all till last week. And it's good to be back.
You're doing well, mate. Now, if you got to go, let me know, because I know you've got to set yourself up for a 1 hour race and there's strategy involved, so fueling the car up is important.
Yeah, that's all ready to go.
All ready to go. And, mate, tell us what you've been doing in your off time. Anything exciting, or just having a break from it all?
Yeah, just working, racing real cars, and yeah, that's about it.
Mate, it's always good to have you back. I know it's a short time now, so I'll let you get prepared, but come in and have a chat to us at the end of the race, please do, because it's great to have you on board for tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks.
Eddie Metz, and like I said, big thanks to Dandenong Brake and Clutch. Carnage start is the prediction, says Jacob Neasley, as far as this full reverse grid race goes. There's a few nervous drivers out there just putting their fuel in the car, but remember, they will get a chance. It's open set up this league to tune the car how they want, and they've got to fill it up. I've seen these races where they have a short sprint first and drivers go back in, they forget to put fuel in the car, and they actually go out with 5 laps worth of fuel when you're going to do roughly around 30 laps over the hour here at Bathurst. So there's Kai Ardley, he'll be looking for a good performance, and we'll bring you the grid shortly. In about 2 minutes time we'll go live for race number 2 tonight. 1 hour here with pit stops, live on RACESTARS TV. Shots for you, Spike. I reckon we should play that everyone has to play along. That's the key. 100 stars, one shot. Everyone's got to play the game. Definitely, it sounds like a Christmas broadcast. We do the flyover here from Bathurst. How cool is this place? Looks beautiful in Microsoft Flight Sim. Big thanks to them for not pinging us for any sort of copyright. We can do these flights and we can use the footage, and it just adds that extra level to the broadcast. So big thanks to them. All right, we count down now to the last 30 seconds. And Peter Ellenberger says, Eddie Metz to call the start of race 2, 3, 2, 1, and the way they go. Oh man, I wonder if I've still got that. Wouldn't that be incredible? I'm a bit scared to go through all my samples here, because where would I have saved it if I had it?
Spill these ice cream.
That's not that one. I'm not going through. I'm too scared. There's a few ones that I don't want to be broadcast stuck in that sampler. Right, let's go down to the RACESTARS theme song and let's call through the grid for our final race of the night. So full reverse grid, it will be PJ Whiteman that starts from the front row. Aaron Gretsch starts from P2. Hayden Carroll will start out of 3 tonight. Alongside him, Tony Don, then it's Ash McClurkin out of 5. Kurt Bond rounds out your top 6. 7th on the grid, Mark Pryor with Thousand, Medicine and Ormans rounding out your top 10. Ram McClurkin out of 11th position tonight with Ian McDougall, your top 12. 13th on the grid, Jordan Ockles, Matt Dexter from 14, Lockie Barlow 15, Eddie Metz rounds out your top 16. Shane Nichols out of 17th with Colin Smith, Rue Koister and Ross Hanson, your top 20. Luke Crum out of 21st tonight with Ryan Simpson, Kai Ardley and Samuel Collins. Right down the back in 24th place at the very back of the grid, Brendan Jenner 25th, Benjamin Roberts 26th and Brock Schaefer will start plumb last from the back of the grid here for our feature race tonight. 1 hour on the board. Who can come out on top in an hour's time? Well, don't go anywhere. Stick around and find out, because we may see just a little bit of mayhem at the start of this race. I think it's about time I rejig the theme song. What do you reckon? I might open it up in Logic if I get a little bit of time in a couple of weeks, school holidays maybe, to crank out and maybe just adjust it a bit, give it a freshen up. Right, we roll away. Let's get rid of the music. Let's crank these cars up. It's 1 hour around Bathurst. Well, will we see that opening lap crash that can sometimes just plague this beautiful race circuit? We've already got a couple of drivers dropping back now. PJ Whiteman has decided not to start from the front. That's elevated Gretchen McClurkin to the front row. So Aaron Gretchen and Ash McClurkin actually now elevated to the front row of this grid. And that's a bit of a change up. So Carroll, Pryor, Bond and Whiteman have all allocated to go and start from the pit lane. So here we go. Let's get set for a green light and let's get racing here at Mount Panorama. And it's 1 hour on the clock and we are away. It's a good start by McClurkin in the front. He didn't waste any time at all as they head down towards turn 1. McClurkin gets through fine. Don's getting through fine as well. So far so good. Everyone on their best behaviour. They run up the mountain. And it is Aaron Gretsch who leads us away. Looking down the back, I think Schaefer's ahead of Roberts. He's already made up a couple of positions. Ryan Simpson's made up a few as well. They're pushing forward up towards turn 2 now. Who's going to get through here and who's going to come a croppers? Everyone so far so good. Aaron Gretsch leads us up towards the cutting for the first time. Already pulling a slight margin on McClurkin, a couple of car lengths. They've dropped Tony Don by a couple of car lengths too. Ram McClurkin holds on to 8th place. Fire-breathing McLaren has Fowson and Metz in the top 10 right behind him. Up towards the top of the mountain they go. And there you go across underneath Mark Taylor's Fujitsu air conditioning sign up towards Reed Park. And McPhillamy is flat out across the top now. Let's go to the drone camera. Check it out. Ash McClurkin giving Aaron Gretsch a run for his money on this opening lap and looking very, very good. Oh, he runs a little bit wide through there, does Gretsch. There goes Eddie Metz. We'll lock in on him as he comes down into the dipper now. Right behind him, you got Barlow, Nichols and Koistra. Koistra's been in massive form tonight. He's driving so well up into 13th now. 6 places he's made up on this opening exchange. Beautiful job. Down the inside was Nichols, was it, I think? Ardley's there as well. Dexter and Simpson at the front. Ash McClurkin takes the lead of the race. Ash McClurkin into the lead of this race on lap 1. And what a great start. Tony Don up into 2nd. I wonder if Aaron Gretsch isn't serving some sort of slowdown, or does he have some damage there because he's just dropped all the way back to 5th position in the space of a few corners, and a big dive as well. Ram McClurkin gets himself up into 8th place now. Eddie Metz right behind him. And this opening lap has 2 McClurkins in the top 10. Ashley leads it across the line. Medson moves up into 2nd, or does he? Tony Don fights back on the inside through the final corner. Look at Alderman's now. He's flying. He's trying to make his way through. He's got Don to his left there, and then to his right he had Medson. Medson hung on and pulled a little bit of a margin. Up Mountain Straight they go for the 2nd time. So they reckon 35 laps or an hour, whichever comes first. We're definitely going to see a time certain race here tonight. Aaron is a great mechanic, says Spike Goddard, and he's doing well tonight. 5th place. Ashley starting to pull a bit of a lead. There's Don, and Ormans now gets himself up into P3. Ardley back in the pack is pushing pretty hard there as Koistra's dropped back to 14th. Now Ryan Simpson, who races the Parramatta Smash Repairs BMW tonight. Simpson moves himself now right up behind Koistra. Let's jump on board with Simpson, trying to find a little bit of real estate. This is where it gets so tight, really just a single line through here. You don't want to push the margin, and it will push you into the fence more often than not if you get alongside anyone here near middle. Great. Koistra, he'll be a target to pass though as they come up towards Skyline. Simpson just backing out of the throttle. Crum in behind, Dexter behind him, Smith and Collins then 18th and 19th. I tell you what, Koistra all over the back of Fowson, had to check up slightly across Skyline as well. And now down through the dipper, Simpson just needing to bide his time here to try and find a way through and keep the nose of that big Barbara Streisand BMW. The big nostrils keep it nice and clean as he goes now down through Forest Elbow to get a good exit and a good run straight away in the background too. Look at that. You can see it was Luke Crum just pulling out, trying to get some fresh air as now Simpson does get alongside Koistra. He should be able to get him. Here we go, down in towards the chase, side by side. There's an overlap there, but is there enough? Koistra hangs in there. Koistra does not give up the position with the inside run. Late on the brakes, Simpson. Wow, that was late on the brakes. He somehow has got ahead by a couple of car lengths there too. That was fantastic work there as McClurkin holds out Ardley and Barlow, who are fighting in the background there. Fowlson as well, all over the back of Barlow. And we've got a spinner there. It's Aaron Gretsch in the fence. Gretsch is in the wall, and that's not ideal for him. Final corner, Aaron Gretsch will drop right to the back of the order with that one, and he'll have to turn it round, and has lost a lot of track position there, sadly. So Ash McClurkin still leads. Colin Smith has just jumped to the pit lane, which will throw our timing screen out terribly for a lap here. Colin, slap across the wrist for that one. That's why we run the no escape rule in most of our series, and now it's shown up that he has dropped out. So it's elevated McClurkin back to the top of the list where he is. Alderman's in second now, and Ash has really come out firing in this feature race tonight. Medson's doing well. Knockolds up into fourth place now. Also firing along very, very well. So PJ is having some PC troubles, we've just been told. Hence why he's dropped out tonight. That's sad, isn't it? So would like to see him race. As Ash did a 2:04.4. I expect the times to really tumble, especially from the drivers down the back as they get some clear air. Roberts has just got past Dexter now. Dexter is going a little bit slow in the Big M Lamborghini. 16th now for him. Roberts up into 15th. Ryan Simpson still chopping his way through the field. 12th place. He's one ahead of Coister. He's going to pick up another couple here, I would say. We jump on the nose camera down Conrod Straight underneath the Mercedes-Benz of Lockie Barley. You can see Parramatta Smash Repairs on the back of that as well. And what a train of cars. You can McClurkin at the front of this one. And then he's got a very fast Ardley, Barlow, Simpson and Coister right behind. And down the inside, Lockie Barlow. Oh, there's contact. Simpson's going to be in the fence there, sadly. And McClurkin goes off as well. We'll have to have a look at that on a replay. But that has not ended well for Simpson, who drops right back. Let's take a quick look at that one. So down towards the chase, we'll slow it down and try and zoom in and get a shot of this one. Maybe a different camera angle will show what went wrong in the background. So let's just focus in on Simpson here. Does he get caught up in everyone else's mischief? Here we go, we'll speed it up a bit. You slow it down there, he was deep on the brakes, and no, it's a big dive bomb. It's 3 wide, and Simpson probably a little bit late on the brakes there. He's ended up going across the nose of the 56 and McClurkin, and sliding off, taking McClurkin with him. So unfortunately, Ryan will have to wear that one, I would say. He'll bounce back, but finds himself dropping all the way to 21st place. Meanwhile, Ash McClurkin still leads out in front. The margin for him, 9/10 of a second. And he's got the pedal to the metal here. We're almost 8 minutes in. Ricky in the house says, let's go Meds. Go Roo says, sure as well. Mikey Harlan says, chill out Motorsport, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Love to see it. Let's have a quick look now. We've got the chill out boys up there. Let's go through them. We've got Daniel, first of all, in the Audi. And he's starting to get a little bit of a hurry up from Jordan Knockholes, who's right behind him. Riding on board now, looking back at Jordan. And Rob Medson, a further 1.7 seconds up the road. Knockholes took a full second out of Ormans on the previous lap. And both of them now really starting to notably close the margin to Ash McClurkin, who, like I said, I've given him a few props tonight. He's driving so well. Let's jump on board the big, beefy Mercedes-Benz, and down the inside, Jordan Knockholes. What a sand. He gets himself up into P2 now. So he didn't waste any time there. Daniel went off the track slightly. How does that help Robert Medson? Well, Medson about to get a run on his teammate. Also now goes through and up into P3. So Daniel's gone from 2nd back to 4th in the case of a couple of corners there. Fowlson off the track, dancing around down there out at the chase. He probably fancies checking himself into the ridges down there and having a nice cold drink after that spin. Tony Don's in the pit lane, so he's gone for that early strategic fuel stop by the looks of things. Ash McClurkin continues to lead us up the hill. So as far as battles go at the moment, we're watching Ian McDougall, who races the TCR car in the real world. He's now closed up onto the back of this Chill Out Motorsport trio, or a duo I should say, because Knockholes has left them for dead. Let's jump on board here with McDougall, the Challenge Motorsport entry. He now just tries to find some real estate, same area of the track where, like I said earlier, single file. Don't get yourself involved in any sort of shenanigans over here. I love this shot. Feel me, watch this. We pick them up as they come across the top of that little hump. And the speed carried through there, a couple of 100 kph, 119 kph across the top there. Incredible in the little Audi on song tonight. In fact, we've got 4 Audis in the top 5. Eddie Metz now moves himself up into 6th. Eddie Metz Racing Machine. Looking great. Has that got some new neon lights? It does, doesn't it? Or is that part of the paintwork? The neon lights across the door there? I'm going to say that's some neon lights. It's very cool. So on board with Eddie Metz. Big thanks again to Dandenong Brake and Clutch, tonight's sponsor. And in the all-green machine, Eddie looking very good, isn't he? The battle in front still rages on. Luke Crum as well. He's got Roberts now, who has gone through Benjamin Roberts in the Mini Muscle Cars Machine Cult Ferrari. The top Ferrari tonight, Brendan Jenner back in 22nd. He's the second Ferrari. He has made a fuel stop. Only 4 seconds fuel put in the car. Is that enough to bring it home? I noticed a couple of those stops quite short. Then I look at Hayden Carroll. He took over a minute for his stop, and Mark Pryor as well. Well over a minute as Ben Roberts now does the new fastest lap of the race in the number 1 Mini Muscle Cars Ferrari. And P8 working his way forward. Ryan Simpson takes that away from him now with a 2:02.19. Ryan Simpson for Parramatta Smash Repairs now on the money. Starting to move his way back up the order after that little spin before. Tag a few friends if you haven't already. Get them in to watch this one. We've still got 50 minutes to go, or 49 minutes to go. Matt Dexter and Ram McClurkin battling. Let's jump on board the McLaren of Ram McClurkin. There he is. Oh, check out the race suit. He's got the skeleton race suit on. That's pretty cool. Throwback McLaren helmet as well. So that's good. Dexter will go around the outside though in turn 2 and pass done in the Big M Lamborghini. Thousand up the road. The next driver that they're trying to catch at the moment. Let's go back to this Medson battle. Medson, Orlemans and McDougall hot on their tail. Let's jump on board with Ian McDougall and just ride the lightning down here with Visor Cam. Here we go. It's all happening. They're pushing super hard, these drivers. You can see the way McDougall thought about a push on Medson then just thought, you know what, we're in a 1 hour race here. Let's just chill out a little bit. Eddie Metz closes up a little bit closer to that 5th position as well. And Benjamin Roberts now in P7 is hot on the tail of Eddie Metz. So this has really started to compress. Let's have a quick look at the track map and you'll see just that. That from 1st back to 10th place now is only 8.2 seconds. So that gap's come down in a big way. Rue Koester currently running in 10th place on the back of Luke Crum. Let's jump on board the Lamborghini. He's got the driving light well ablaze as well. Oh, he hasn't actually. He's turned it off. There you go. Driving lights off on the Lamborghini of Rue Koester tonight. Formula Racing Group. Out in front, Jordan Knockholes now takes the lead of the race. 2.1 seconds over Ash McClurkin, who held that position right up until a couple of moments ago, where Jordan snuck through. We'll have a quick look at that overtake because we did miss it. Here it is. So this was the overtake. It was down at the end of Conrad into the chase, I presume. And just like that, Knockholes pulls out of the draft and says, I'll take that 1st place away. Thank you very much, Mr. McClurkin. And he goes into the lead. So nice clean overtake. That's how it's done. He now leads by 2.3 seconds, so he's just pulled away slightly. and enjoying some clear air in front of him too, because it's a full 23 seconds of nothing till the next driver up the road, Colin Smith, who's running in 26th place. So looking good at the moment. Roberts is now pushing and he's getting past Eddie Metz, is he? He's got Metz. Oh, Metz late on the brakes. Nice job. Can he stop it? He can. Roberts will try and switch underneath him. He can't though. Eddie Metz, let's jump on board with him. Look at Roberts. That car is looking aggressive. The Ferrari has a look to the inside now. Under brakes into the final corner. And on board with Metz. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. Metz in the fence. Metz in the fence. Has he got damage from that? That really was quite a hard hit. There was an overlap there, and then the slightest bit of contact pushed him across into the wall. And let's see if he has to... no, he's still keeping momentum there, but definitely will probably be a bit upset. Was there a little bit too much pushing and shoving in that overtake? Try and have a little bit of a look for you in a second. Let's go to a replay now of the overtake. We'll slow it down. So he set him up well, and then he goes down the inside. Now just watch when they exit the corner here. So Roberts to the inside. This is where the overlap started to occur. We'll go from above. And just as they exit the corner, now did Metz come across a little bit, or did Roberts not leave a car width on the outside? Probably Roberts came across a little bit, didn't leave a full car width. Metz is then driven into the fence with a big hit. And sadly, that's done a lot of damage to Eddie's car. Go back live, it's all happening at the top. Rue Koistra goes past Metz as well. I think he's got probably terminal damage, or he needs to pit that car and get that fixed. Koistra goes through. Crum and Ardley have also gone through. Now up into 8th and 9th place for Ardley. He's on the back of Shane Nichols in the Lamborghini, running 7th place at this stage. So we'll keep an eye on Eddie Metz. He continues to drop back. He's now in the clutches of Brock Schaefer. Now Schaefer at the moment 12th, now into 11th place. He's lost a little bit of touch to Roberts, who's up in 5th. So he's got a fair bit of work to do in the last 3 quarters of this race. Can you believe we're only 16 and a half minutes in, 1 hour race tonight. So Brock with a bit of work to do. The BMW always sounds so sedate when you jump on board, doesn't it? It's such a smooth sounding engine and a lot of fuel saving going on. You could hear Brock Schaefer there just dip the clutch down to the final corner. So he's obviously on a strategy that requires him to save as much fuel as possible, hence why his lap times at the moment are in the mid 205, so well off the pace up the front. Knockout's doing 203s, but the talk was maybe some of these drivers will need to stop twice if they go full throttle. McClurkin drops back into 3rd place now. Orlemans goes through up into 2nd. Daniel on the charge. He needs to stay within touch here of Knockout if he can. He's now 4.7 adrift of the race lead. These drivers, the top 2 drivers, in fact, Jordan Knockout, who is the lead driver, currently doing 203.3s. That's their race pace. Now, the issue for them is if they're going flat chat, they may not make it to the end on a one-stop strategy. And that was the sneak peek we got given before the race. Can we get an onboard with Brock Schaefer, says Peter Ellenbogen. We certainly can for you, Peter. Next time he crosses the start-finish line, we'll do a full lap on board with Brock Schaefer. He's got a couple of drivers he'll probably attack on that next lap too. Always fun to watch. Aaron says, Med and Knock, #1 fan worldwide win. So we'll just keep an eye on Brock now. He's just coming down to Forest Elbow. We'll pick him up and jump on board to cross the line and do a full lap here with Pfizer Cam. Meanwhile, Roberts is on the back of McClurkin. Now I think about to make an overtake. Ferrari just going to the inside of the Mercedes, and that'll be job done. So now Roberts up into P3. So what a charge by him from the back of the grid. Now up into 3rd position. Schaefer just coming down into the chase himself. He's got Koistra and Ardley who are battling just up ahead. And let's set ourselves up now. Enjoy the onboard. We'll crank the sound up, and this is Rocky Schaefer for a lap around Bathurst, Mount Panorama. How about the fuel saving going on there? That's and the majority of the lap was all fuel saving there. Brock Schaefer. We saw a couple of spins there. We will quickly go back and have a look at. Rue Koistra being one of them. This was just out of the chase, wasn't it? So we were on board at the time with Brock. Lucky to sneak through and avoid both the incidents. I think Orlemans was the other one that went around. And Orlemans went around first. Now, whether or not Koistra just made a little bit of contact, he spun around. That's such an awkward place to then try and rotate the car. To spin around, he does so, and then gets it heading in the right direction. But that's what cost both those drivers some time there. Let's go back to live with Knockolds leading this race. And as we put the timing screen back up, 4.3 seconds the margin back to Roberts and McClurk and Ashley, that is, running in the top three. So doing a beautiful job at the moment. Looking at some of the pit stop times, I'm seeing 7 seconds, 4 seconds. Now, I wonder if Roberts, who's in the 202s, has any idea how much serious fuel saving his key rival here, Schaefer's doing. Although Schaefer did a 203.0 on that fuel saving lap, can you believe? So still putting in some mega lap time there, even though half the time he had a foot on the clutch and was just using the momentum of the car to roll towards the apex. Still doing it. You can still hear, couldn't you, dips the clutch again there as we ride on board with Brendan Jenner, getting right up behind Ross Hansen's forward at the moment. Both these drivers have made good gains. 4 spots for Hansen, 8 for Jenner at the moment in this race. And Brendan Jenner has stopped. He took 4 seconds worth of fuel on. Now to me that maybe means he's on a 2-stopper anyway, and just thinks that he'll get a quick splash in first of all and then a longer stop later. But to be honest with you, with a 50% fuel capacity, I'm not 100% sure how much fuel will be taken in these stops. Good evening, Brett. Nice to have you watching, mate. Gee whiz, it's busy here. Luke Crum now and McDougall in a little battle, and into the pit lane goes McDougall. So as Roberts does a new fastest lap of 201.8. So he's not fuel saving at all by the sounds of things. He is going flat chat. Meanwhile, Ardley and Nichols and Schaefer's here as well. So Schaefer to the inside. Moves himself up into 7th now. Gets ahead of Nichols, and then Carroll and Simpson are behind him. So I tell you what, Ryan Simpson, props to this man. He was facing the wrong way at one point, and he's now got himself back onto this pack in P10. Using maybe a little bit more fuel than others around him, but he has not dropped himself out of a chance at a podium tonight. So 10th place, up 12 spots in the Parramatta Smash Repairs BMW. And then Shane Nichols also has moved 9 spots up tonight. Schaefer's up 20, can you believe it? As he now closes in on the back of Ardley and Luke Crum. Crum holds on by a slim margin here with Medson just in front. Medson, to me, he did a 205 last time around, so he was probably the cork in the bottle here. The driver's behind a little bit quicker, and I think you're going to find Luke Crum makes light work of this overtake. Pulls up alongside now in the LCR eSports car. Should be job done down into the chase. And it is job done. So Luke Crum now up into 4th outright. Hard on the brakes. Kai Ardley gets within a car length. In fact, gets better than within a car length. He gets an overlap now and then runs off the racetrack. Ardley with a wild ride down there. Held it together. Now he goes to the pit lane. So he's decided time for his fuel stop as well. Can he get it stopped and turn into the pits? He cuts the corner on the entry. And now he jumps into the lane for his first pit stop. Jordan Knockolds leads, yet to stop. Hayden Carroll, by the way, I think, did he start from the pit lane? I think he did start from the pit lane, didn't he? So he's got himself up into 7th now. Let's jump on board with the Porsche. So Ash McClurkin still P3. What a great drive. I'm loving the consistency here of Ash. I don't want to put the mockers on him, but he has driven a fantastic race so far. Best of a 203.9, but lapping in 204. have a look at his lap time chart, you can just see a 2:04.2, a 2:05.6, a 2:04.4, a 2:04.6 and a 2:04.2. So consistency the key here for McClurkin. And he's chasing down the man in front. He's been dropping a couple of seconds a lap to Roberts, but it doesn't matter. He's just been doing his own race here, and that's what I like. He hasn't been over pushing it. He hasn't spun and put it in the wall yet. He's just been having a nice, sensible run, and for his troubles, he's on for a podium at this stage, with the majority of the drivers still needing to come in for a pit stop. Now, Tony Don, he stopped, took 4 seconds worth of fuel. Ian McDougall, that's more like it, 18.5 seconds worth of fuel. That's more like what I think you would need to do to be able to bring it home on a one-stop strategy. What we do need to surpass is that halfway point, which is the 30-minute mark of this race. A lot of the drivers will be looking at that. Now, if they can't make it to 30 minutes on this first tank of fuel, then it's a two-stop strategy. And of course, a lot of them will then realise that the likes of Brock Schaefer, who have been saving non-stop since the get-go, have probably outsmarted them in that department. So in that department, Schaefer now moves up into 4th, by the way. He's just passes Luke Crum. So even though he's fuel saving to the max, he's still making consistent overtakes. Ryan Simpson in the lane now. And from the top 6, he'll go in and take his fuel stop on board with Simpson now. So this will be hopefully a one-stopper, although, like I said, 27 minutes in, they can fuel it right up to a 50% capacity again. And chances are they're going to need a splash and dash anyway. So if we see drivers at the end of this lap come in to stop, it's going to be a real line ball, because it'll be about 29.5 or 29 minutes into this race. And they love a safety car just to save a few laps and kill a bit of time for the fuel department, but we won't get that tonight. Clerkin still holding out 3rd place, but the gap between himself and Roberts is now, himself and Schaefer is now absolutely nothing. Brock Schaefer starts to hone in. He's got Luke Crum about 3/10 behind as well. There's Crum. And listen to that, still saving fuel, Brocky Schaefer. He took 1.9 seconds out of McClurkin on the previous lap in full fuel saving mode. Incredible. So I don't think Ash will fight this one too hard. He'll see the name in the relative. Oh no, McClurkin's gone around and Schaefer into the side of him. Oh, can you believe it? This is heartache. So a mistake there for Ash, and it's taken one of our contenders for the race with him, and I think that may be terminal damage for Ash as well. As he spins around, almost takes Luke Crum with him too, so Ash in big trouble, and I think that car might be toast. Roberts now leads the race. Who's that in the fence? We've got another car in the fence. That's Rob Medson. Is it Medson in the wall? It is Medson in the wall, so he's lost it halfway down Conrod, and that's a weird incident, that one. I just saw it in the back play, that car smashing into the barrier, and was that a play on from, oh boy, that was close with Mark Pryor going through. But let's have a look at the Medson incident, because that one is an odd one. And was there contact with another car here? So Medson moves across, he's got Schaefer to his inside. Oh, he did too. So he made huge contact with Brock Schaefer. So in the space of about a kilometre of racetrack, Schaefer's been involved in 2 incidents, neither of them his fault. And somehow he's managed to survive all that, and he's still running 2nd place in this race. Can you believe it? So a bit of luck falling his way tonight, although there's Medson trying to limp that back to the pits with a blown motor. Schaefer is in P2, by the way, and we're now about to surpass that halfway point of the race, which to me is quite interesting that Roberts leads. He's been able to push at that pace of a 2:01, and he's got enough fuel to bring it home and probably pit on this lap and then fuel it up to the end with a half-half strategy. Will said I'll be back in 15 minutes. See you, buddy. Rue is sneaking back as well, says Scher. Keeping an eye on Rue Koistra down in 13th place, up 6 positions, but that is big crash, wasn't it? So Ash was the first one to go into the fence. Let's have a quick look at that on a replay. He's up at Forest Elbow, so he's just gone in. Let's just take it back a bit from there. And Schaefer just did not have enough time to react, so McClurkin's gone in. The back end is swung around on him. Big old pendulum. And then Rocky is picking, oh, which way do I go? Which way do I go? And he probably went the wrong way in behind. Oh, they all got tangled, didn't they? Carroll got through all right. He sneaks to the left and he says, oh, see you later, boys. So big impact. And then it's the secondary impact I want to have a quick look at. So we'll roll the camera on from here. We'll jump on board with Schaefer looking back. Now Medson comes alongside. Now what happens here? Does he move across? So they're alongside here, and Medson, I think, thinks he's far enough up in front, but he's not. He comes across, he chops the nose off Schaefer and puts himself in the fence with a big incident. So crazy couple of corners there. Mount Panorama always delivers, and here we go. Schaefer continues on, so there you go. He's been able to do an extra lap here, Brock. Roberts, Collins and Jenner are all in the pit lane, taking their first fuel stop. Knockholes has come out in P3, 22 seconds worth of fuel went on board for him. Roberts is in front of Knockholes. He took 22.6 seconds worth of fuel. So to me, Schaefer's probably going to leapfrog all of them with a short stop coming up at the end of this lap. So that strategy's worked well for him. Ross Hansen yet to stop, running 4th place in the Ford as well. And then you've got Kai Ardley, who has stopped in 5th place with 20 seconds worth of fuel going on board. Hayden Carroll, who stayed out of that incident earlier, leads Ryan Simpson here in 6th and 7th place. Both those drivers also taking around that 22 seconds worth of fuel. Car in the fence up the top of the mountain. Another one off there. Was that Ormans again, or was it someone else? No, Daniel's in the pit lane. Someone else was off there. Jumped on board here with Simpson, who's putting a fair bit of pressure on Carroll, who in turn's putting pressure on Ardley. What do you reckon so far of the racing tonight? We're 32, nearly 33 minutes in to this round 3 of the Australian Sports Sedan eSeries. And Mount Panorama tonight. Oh, a bit of a rub against the fence there. I'm expecting to see Schaefer in. Is he coming in? He is. So important pit stop here for Brock now. The gap at the moment, 22 seconds. So surely he's going to lose a little bit of that to Roberts, who's just coming into the chase. But we'll keep an eye on the exit time of the pit. So he's just in there now. I'll let you know when he's starting to put fuel on board. Now, if he can get out, probably I'd say he needs a sub 20-second fuel stop here. Brock Schaefer, it's just at 5 seconds now. He's been fueling the car. Still stationary. Just on 10 seconds now of fuel going into the car. Ross Hansen's also in the pits from P4, by the way. 15 seconds worth of fuel in the car. And there goes Roberts. Schaefer dropping off the blocks now at 21.7. So even with all that fuel saving, he hasn't managed to leapfrog Roberts or Knockholds. And Kai Ardley might even get him here down at the end of the pit straight. Here comes Ryan Simpson too. This will be neck and neck. So Simpson goes through, and he goes through ahead of Schaefer, who comes out just behind Hayden Carroll. So Brock, after all that hard work of fuel saving, maybe did a little bit too much. Comes out in P6. He's got a bit of work to do now to win this race. Roberts leads, just going up through the cutting now, 3.7 seconds clear of Knockholes, who's then clear 11 seconds of Kai Ardley. So at the moment, the top two, and in particular our race leader, looking pretty comfortable out in front. Hansen comes out just behind Metz. Metz stopped on lap 8. And I think a lot of that was to do with the damage, so he'll probably do a 2-stop strategy, unfortunately. Jokin's in the house. Says, oh, look, I've been slapping around in GT7. Don't hold it against me. Don't hold that against you, mate. I miss the days of playing those sorts of, let's call them simulators or games. I talk about it sometimes. I definitely miss those days of just jumping in front of the console and playing Gran Turismo or all the other games we used to play, where it was just all about relaxing. There wasn't that much pressure. You weren't racing for keeps, as a lot of the time it seems to be in iRacing. It was just about having fun. Jogan says this game is not even close to being a sim. I used to love just bashing around in project cars and doing like 3-lap races and you just do a 3-lap race, you do a 3-lap race again, do split screen or multiplayer against your mates. It was just so much fun, just those quick, short races. That's one thing that iRacing doesn't have, the ability to just stack up a stack of races where you can do 10 3-lap races in a row without having to load in and load out, do all that mucking around. So they have got themselves a step closer though with the heat racing format, that's for sure. We're looking at Ardley now with Ryan Simpson still in tow. Hayden Carroll, then Schaefer back in 6th. The gap from the first back to Schaefer, 17 seconds. It's quite a margin to make up in the next 23.5 minutes to go in the race. In the background you can see Schaefer making a move there on Hayden Carroll. Job done. The Porsche pushes back to 6th place now. Schaefer gets a little bit of a hurry up though from Carroll. Schaefer will have that in control, that's for sure. Now, what's he lapping now? We'll see next time around. That was the out lap. It was a 2-minute 41. That included the pit stop. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised, one, the fact that he didn't make up more spots with all that fuel saving, and two, he wasn't actually the quickest stop. Kai Hardley, only 20.2 seconds of fuel. Brock Schaefer, 22.3. Sorry, 21.7. So Hardley was in fact the shortest of all those pit stops, the top guys, and hence why he's ahead here of Ryan Simpson and looking down the barrel of a podium again for the young fella. Ram McClurkin back in 20th place. I tell you what, Ash, I think he's out of the race now. Ash would be upset with that. He was rowing so well. I gave him such a big rap as well. But unfortunately, in the end, that little mistake down at Forest Elbow when he had Brock Schaefer looming in his mirrors has meant that that will be the end of his evening. But what a good performance up until then. Tony Don, Brendan Jennings is fighting here with Kurt Bond as well. We haven't even seen much of Kurt tonight, as I think Kai Hardley may have put in the fence, has he? No, he's okay. Or has he? Yeah, he has, in the background. So Kai Hardley just went off somewhere down there at the chase. He's had a big off and a big lose. Let's have a quick look at that on a replay. Simpson was there as well, wasn't he? Or was it Schaefer? Simpson. Yeah, no, yeah, it was Simpson. Oh, there was a little bit of contact there. Now, was there contact made from behind? We'll slow that down and have a quick look under brakes. I think there might have been, yeah. Simpson's gone into the back of Ardley as well. And just not pulling the car up, that might cost him a post-race penalty as well. So back live, Orlemans is back there in 18th place, fighting with Mark Pryor in that beautiful BMW livery, Grumpy Motorsport. Has Rue had a pit stop? Rue Koistra at the moment has had a pit stop, lap 14. He took 23 seconds worth of fuel, and he should comfortably go to the end of the race from there. Rue currently in 10th place. We'll have a look at him in a second, but on board with Mark Pryor at this moment. He's doing some fuel saving as well. So Pryor stopped on lap 14 as well. Took 23.5 seconds worth of fuel. I think it's going to be very, very tight towards the end of this race for all the drivers as far as fuel goes, which I'm not sure how orchestrated that was from Ram McClurkin, but wow, it's made it interesting as Kurt Bond now appears out of the pits too. There's Ran heading up Mountain Straight. The race leader going through now, Jordan Knockholes. There's Jordan. Anyway, it's about 10 seconds back to find Brock Schaefer. Here he comes now, so that gap's quite huge, isn't it? Here comes Brock, P3, on for a podium. Simpson, Carroll and Ardley behind him. But the gaps are massive. Hansen and Dexter, and sorry, Aaron Gretsch is there as well. Aaron Gretsch is actually leading this little pack, 12th, 13th and 14th. And the Mortley Ford of Ross Hansen closing right up onto the back of him once again. I think Orleman may have had another crash, has he? Oh, it's up the top of the mountain. Don makes some contact too. Daniel's dropping back down the order, and that to me looks pretty terminal. He's had a big one at the top. Let's have a look at that on a replay as well. So he went across the top. What's going to happen here? He gets up on the curb there, and then does he just lose the back end? Quite often we see the back end go around. Oh, he was way out of shape on the way in, and that's why it's put him across into the left-hand fence. Big impact in the fence, and he went right over. So he's gone the full barrel roll. And who came through then? Oh, it was Mark Pride, did a good job to avoid him. And as he reversed up, Tony Don then snuck through. Ram McClurk and then went through as well. So he did a good job in the end to get out of the way. But that's pretty terminal by the looks of it for Daniel in the Audi. He'll drop back to, or he's going to limp it back to the pits anyhow. Trailing smoke, rear wing all busted up. And there's a sight that you don't want to see in any sort of motor racing. Particularly if you're the driver or if you own that car in the real world. Ash on the chat says one little error and I'm out. No good, man. It was so good up until then. Me, a co-commentator, Luke, get in here, man. I'd love to have you co-commentate. Let's do it. Let's hook it up for the last 19 minutes. We'll wait for Ash to join me. We'll let us go grab him. I'll put him on the spot. I'm even going to share my screen for him so he can commentate off my live screen here. We get that happen quickly in the background. So Benjamin Roberts still leads as we wait for Ash to join me over here in the chat. And G's driven well again, hasn't he? Benny working his way through. I'm just going to go grab Ash. Is he still there? Oh, he's here now. Hello, Ashley. How are you, mate? Can you hear me, buddy? We'll just get him to start talking when he can. We've got Brock Schaefer's just done a new fastest lap of the race.
I'm just trying to get it working.
Oh, cool. Yeah, if you watch my stream on Discord, you'll be able to see real time of what I'm watching at the same time so we can commentate on the same thing. If you watch YouTube, it's a 15-second delay and it gets us all confused. So Brock Schaefer, new fastest lap of the race at 2:01.24. That was a second 0.2, so 1.2 seconds quicker than the race leader on the lap just gone by. So is this maybe where Roberts is having to save a lot of fuel towards the end of the race and Brock Schaefer will come back? The gap, remember, was 17 seconds about 3 laps ago. It's now 13 seconds. So 17 minutes to go. What do you reckon, Ash? Can he get there?
Oh, I think he can. It's a bit of a distance to make up, but let's have a look. I'm just gaining my thoughts after all that action still shaking a bit.
Mate, you drove so well. I was giving you such a big rap. You had the pressure, obviously, of Brock coming up behind you, but mate, that looked to me like a classic iRacing spin that in the real world probably wouldn't happen.
Oh, you don't want to get me started. Yeah, it was the old iRacing curse got me, but it just for once I was nice and cool with Brock behind. I thought he'll just make a nice move down the straight and it'll all go well. And that rear just started to overtake, and I knew it was all downhill from there.
Yep, I've had that many times. It was my biggest frustration, I think, with iRacing was that when the back end goes around, you just cannot. Whatever you do, you're never going to stop it.
No, you're right. Look, I have to say it has got better, but yeah, in those little slow speed spins, it's a real tricky one.
Yeah, now it's been good racing, man. Obviously, an hour around here can be hard on any day of the week, but the track conditions good. It's cool out there. At the moment, Roberts still leading. That gap's coming down. Jordan Ockholz has driven well again tonight, P2. But, you know, Brock Schaefer, once again, just a force to be reckoned with. And the fact that he got a little bit of damage, I think, off the contact with you, but then he also got absolutely clobbered. You wouldn't have seen it, but just as he went down Conrad, he got clobbered again by someone else. The fact that he's still out there even running is quite remarkable.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't see that. No.
That was contact with, it's just gone past me for a second here, but I might
I think he's, I think Brock's made about another second up, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got down to 12.5 now. So I'm watching the lap times at the moment. So Roberts across the top of the mountains, also getting a bit of traffic, which is going against him. So he's tucked up behind Colin Smith now, as you can see. He's just going to go past him at, nice little pass there. Smith helped him out too by getting out of the way. But now he's going to come up behind Medson, who's a fast driver in his own right. So if Medson doesn't adhere to the blue flags in iRacing, it could take Roberts a little bit more time to get through here. So this is all helping Brock close that margin down now to sub 12 seconds. So it's 11.8 now.
Yeah, no, it's looking good. Yeah, it's nearly another second just in that time you've been talking. So
yeah, and I reckon with that pace, it's about a 1.2 second difference in lap speed at the moment. And we know Brock did the extra lap, so obviously Roberts came right in on the halfway point, the 30-minute mark. Schaefer then did an extra lap, so in theory, They both took about the same amount of fuel on board. Schaefer's probably good to go now, 10/10ths.
Yeah, so we might get a nice, what do you reckon, maybe last couple of laps, or do you think he might be able to nail him in a little bit quicker?
I reckon it's going to be last lap sort of thing, and it's almost like if we had that F1 prediction thing, you know, when the battle is going to be. I reckon it's 14 minutes away. I still don't know how they calculate all those things, but somehow. But the prediction, I reckon, on the final lap of the race, and we're going to go time certain, so what have we got? 14 minutes to go, so we're, you know, another 7 laps at most is going to see us to around lap 30.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's hopefully you can. It just depends on the traffic as well and where everything lies. But yeah, it's looking good.
And you had a bit of time off, Ash. You weren't racing for a little bit. You just sort of, you know, finding the love for it again, or just too busy with life?
Bit of both. I think I just needed a break for a while, and they've definitely improved the game since I've been away and come back. So yeah, it's just good to get back into it, and I've relaxed a bit more into it, not getting so uptight.
Yep. Yeah, it's easy to do. Actually, I to be honest with you, I haven't driven iRacing for maybe like 7 or 8 months. It's been that long.
Probably since I got out of it nearly.
Yeah, it's been so long, and I should get on and have another crack at it because I keep getting told that it has improved heaps. And you know what I keep seeing tonight is windscreen wipers coming on every now and then randomly. And
Ooh.
I'm getting very excited because I reckon that means rain's not far away. I don't know. Have you noticed it yet at all?
What's that, sorry?
Have you noticed the windscreen wipers come on at all in your car?
No, I haven't actually, but I might not have the graphics setting up that high.
Yeah, right. Well, we noticed it tonight. Brock Schaefer's came on at one point when he was following another car, but I saw a bit of a murmur across the internet about it, and people were predicting that maybe, okay, they're just testing now, you know, automatically bringing on wipers and things like that, because soon rain's going to be implicated into the game, and that'll lift this to another level.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Imagine this if the rain started about now.
Yeah.
That'd get real exciting.
Yeah, I watched something the other day. I think it was Project Cars 2. It was, I can't remember what it was, but man, it looked good. It had sheeting rain at Bathurst. It was sheeting across the top of the mountain, and it looked like the real thing. It was incredible.
Gran Turismo, the new Gran Turismo.
Maybe that's what it was.
With the rain, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Man, it looks so cool. Hey, the gap now down to 10 seconds.
Yeah, I just about to say, we're nearly sub 10, but we're running out of time, just under 12 minutes. So
yeah, and Hayden Carroll's driven well tonight. He's in 5th place. He's currently 19 seconds off the lead. But this is also one of those races where it could get to the last lap, and you could have any of the top 5 cough and splutter and be out of it. You could have multiple of them do that too. So.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually saving a little bit of fuel in that run as well, trying to save fuel but also go fast, and it's super difficult, so I don't know how these guys are doing it. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, what surprised me is, and you wouldn't have known this because you were driving at the time, but for that first half an hour of the race, on board with Brock Schaefer, he was constantly saving fuel, and I'm talking like every opportunity he had, he was clutch in, letting the thing roll. So I was well surprised that he was actually doing that much saving. So others.
He did say the Ferrari's difficult to it uses a lot of fuel, he seemed to think. So
he's in the Beamer. Is that
foxing us or sandbagging?
Yeah, well, there was talk of having to splash and dash. Now there's a few drivers that came in around that 27-minute mark. Those drivers won't make it to the end. They're definitely going to have a splash and dash. There's quite a few of them.
Unless they're a few laps down, but yeah.
Well, that's true as well, yeah. So look at the strategy. You can see the strategy there. So lap 15 for Roberts. He was 1 lap longer than Knockolds. Schaefer went to lap 16, so he did a lap longer than Roberts. Simpson's the one to me, lap 13. I reckon that's a lap out of fuel. He'll need to come in for a splash. Anyone that was lap 13 or 12 and 11 like Ardley and McDougall, I reckon all those drivers are going to definitely need a splash of fuel before the end of this race.
Oh, so it's going to get very interesting at the end, I think.
Interesting and confusing, I think.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're Brock's down to 9. Just under 9 now. So
yeah, right on 9. So what do we got to go? 10 minutes to go. So, you know, at the moment, let's have a look at these lap times. He's just crossed the line. Roberts did a 2:02.3, Schaefer a 2:01.1, so he's still over a second quicker. Now with 10 minutes, that's about 5 laps. It's only going to be 5 seconds, isn't it? So it won't be enough at this stage unless Roberts really runs into trouble.
Yeah, those guys are those times that Brock's doing. I don't know. It's hard to do it on a qualifying lap, but he's just reels them out, doesn't he?
It's consistent too. Like, we'll look at the lap chart here. You'll see he's done a 2012, a 2010, 2012, 2012, 2011. It's just, that's the consistency that wins your races.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. Well, I'll look at a couple of other drivers here. Let's go to Rue Koistra, who's been up and down in this race, but he's got himself back to 10th. He's behind Jenna. Ross Hansen's in 11th, then Matt Dexter, Luke Crum, and Aaron Gretsch.
So Matt Dexter and Rue are doing a good job because they've been working really hard on setup and really struggling in the practice, or not struggling, but trying to come to grips with those cars.
Yep.
And setting them up. So I've been listening to them chat about, a lot of changes and things like that. So they seem to be, they've obviously managed to get that balance between speed and stability that they've sort of been struggling with, which is interesting.
And how much of that goes on? How much of that data sharing? Because there's some series where people are like, if you go to the top level V8 Supercar series and that, they will never share any information, whereas these guys seem pretty open to help each other out.
Yeah, it does depend what car you're in. In the Mercedes, there's a couple of us, but I just keep going back to baseline again, which I was guilty of. I was running baseline high downforce sprint setup tonight, and it was pretty good, wasn't it, for a base setup?
Sure, yeah. Hey, Schaefer's just gone quicker again. He's now got it down to 8 seconds. He's on the back now. He's caught those cars, so he's first got to pass Jordan here. This is for position, so this one will be a bit more difficult. If he can clear Jordan, he's then got Smith in front, who will get out of the way for blue flags. And I think it's Medson then up the road who will also adhere to the blue flag. So this is going to be, I think, make or break now for Schaefer, whether or not he can clear the Audi of Jordan Nockholz.
Yeah, it's going to have to be careful because Jordan was similar pace to me, maybe a little bit quicker during the race. So, it just depends whether he gets nervous like I did a little bit or, something like that.
The other thing too, though, he may be fuel limited here, Ash, because his lap times have been 2023s, so still well over a second slower than Schaefer.
Sorry, I'm just watching. This is getting a bit
yeah.
here.
Well, let's jump on board with Brock because, like I said, he's got to be aggressively patient, if that makes sense. He's got to get through ASAP.
When you're following a car like that too, because you've got a slightly slower car, so he's having to brake a bit earlier, and he's probably thinking of what happened with me and thinking, I hope this guy doesn't loop it here. And
yeah, and they've got the lap car to throw another spanner in the works, so they'll clear Smith here. Yeah, Smith, he hasn't, no, but now he should hopefully bleed out of the throttle. But look at Brock, he's right up behind now. He would normally be past the chill out car here, but he can't. He is pushing him. He can't get past because the MR Automotive car was in the way, but now he pulls out of the slipstream. They go wheel to wheel down into the chase, and it is Schaefer now up into P2. So, wow, he's now got himself, but look at that. Hey, he lost 9/10 on that lap already to the race leader.
But really good driving from both of them too, to leave enough room. It's not easy.
Yeah, 6 minutes to go, and it's an 8.9 second margin now, Roberts to Schaefer. So getting past Jordan, and also the lap car cost him there. And you can see Ryan Simpson has had to come into the lane, like I said, splash and dash. Those drivers that stopped lap 13, lap 12, they're going to need that splash of fuel. It'll be a short one. Watch this. It'll be probably, I'm going to predict maybe 3 seconds worth of fuel here for Simpson. He goes on the blocks now. It's 4, it's 5, it's 6. Okay, so it's a bit longer than I predicted. 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. Okay, so that's, unless he's retired the car.
Or something.
No, that's much longer than I think is needed. 16 seconds worth of fuel seems a little bit too much.
Unless he short filled knowing that he was going to have to stop. Oh, no, that probably wouldn't work either, would it?
No, I don't think so. So Roberts at the moment looking pretty comfortable. 8.2 with just on, I reckon, 3 laps to run in the race. Schaefer then Nockholz. Now the gap between Jordan in third, looking back to Carroll, is 11 seconds. So he can afford now to just back off and comfortably try and secure that third place.
And now's right in the part where I start to regret what happened and think, I'd probably be around,
Yeah.
Jenna around that.
Yeah, well, before you looped it, I was sort of saying, you just had to run that consistent race because obviously with the reverse grid too, you get that buffer at the start. As Medson out of shape, Schaefer once again just trying to sneak past the lap car of Medson, and there's another lap car that's got great speed too. That's the thing. There's some drivers way out of position here tonight with incidents and so forth. But yeah, you just had to stay in there, Ash, and I think you would have been top 5 easily.
Well, these things happen.
Yeah, we still got 2 rounds to go, so I love the fact that this is the first time the Sports Sedan eSeries has been able to have 5 Australian tracks too. How cool is that?
Oh, it's really good, and they're tracks I've actually driven my sports sedan in, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and obviously Sandown, exciting to have that in the sim.
No, it's great, and Winton as well, which we've got later on the last round. So
yeah, so what have we got left? We've got Winton and Phillip Island, isn't it?
yeah, Phillip Island next,
Yep.
followed by Winton.
Yeah, so cool. So that's it's going to be exciting. Obviously, Winton, one of the harder tracks to pass that. What's it like in the real world? Like every sim broadcast that I've done from Winton has shown the same story. Very hard to overtake. What's it like when you actually race in a real race car there?
It's not bad to overtake there actually in the real world. It's a very challenging track, but you know, through the tight sections you can actually take multiple lines, so you can, you know, put people off, you know, off the line and get them up the inside and things like that. So I'll be interested to see how it compares in the sim world.
Yeah, awesome. Have you done many laps there in preparation for next week or the week after? Sorry.
I think I've done about 10, so that's a lot for me.
Yeah. Oh, good. There's Eddie Metz out there, 18th place. Big thanks once again to Dandenong Brake and Clutch. If you got your car down that way and you need something done to it, go see the guys over there and they'll help you out. But Eddie's put his head down tonight. He's had a little bit of bad luck here and there, but still lapping in the 203s in the top 18 ahead of Fowson and Tony Don. So doing a nice job, but I think it's curtains at the front. We've got probably 2 to go. In fact, it may only be 1 more to go. I'm looking at the time now. I think it will be 1 lap to go, and the gap is 8 seconds.
Yes, I don't think there's enough, unfortunately, but gee, he's put in a good fight to try and bring it back.
Yeah, unless he runs out of fuel, which I wouldn't discount that either.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a few nervous people, I think, right about now. There'll be very nervous people, quite a lot of them.
Yeah, and your brother ran in 21st place. He's got a pretty clean looking race car. There's no dints on there, so we'll be happy with that. He's had a nice consistent race, be it down the back.
Yeah, I think you'll be happy with that. It's such a hard. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter how quick you are around here. There's a lot of luck and a lot of good driving going on. So.
Yep, confirmation. White flag is out. 1 to go. There's our flag marshal.
Knockholds is in the pits.
Oh, he is too. So there you go. That's elevated Carroll now up into P3. And I think, didn't I say before, let's have a look at that pit strategy, that Jordan was one that came, lap 14. So like I said, he was on that fringe because Roberts did 15 laps, Schaefer did 16. Anyone 14 and below on those laps for that first stint were definitely in struggle street. And he's out of fuel, so.
Rue in 9th might need to come in.
Yeah, true. So let's see what happens with others elevating. So Carroll's gone up into 3rd. This is the last lap of the race, by the way, so we're halfway through that. Samuel Collins up into 4th, Jenner up into 5th. Knockholes, it was a splash, 14 seconds, comes out in 6th place, but we're watching the leader drop down through the S's for the final time. And
Dexter's in the pit. There you go. There's another one.
yeah, Dexter as well. So that's that strategy. And you know, it was one of those races where if you didn't do your pre-planning, you would have had no idea that you would have had to save that much fuel.
No, there was a little bit of talk about it, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It was very hard to save fuel as well because you want to race. So we've got Crumb in the pits too.
Yeah, I can't do the saving fuel thing. There's a series called Wheelie Bins, and every race seemed to be like fuel saving strategy, and it used to drive me nuts. It's like I just want to go flat out.
So did Bond start from the pit again?
I think he did, yeah.
He's up in 14th. That's pretty impressive.
Yes, that's pretty good, yeah. But we're coming down to the final corner now, and the gap down to 6.5 seconds. So Benny has rolled out of the throttle here, but he will cross the line. He'll take a win in the feature race tonight, the 1 hour feature race. Benjamin Roberts from Mini Muscle Cars Machine Cult takes the win from Brock Schaefer. What a good drive. Both drivers coming from the back of the grid, making up 25 positions apiece. And a 2-minute flat 0.9 on the final lap. That's why he caught up that space. That's incredible. So a 2:00.9 on the final lap of the race from Brock Schaefer. Here comes Hayden Carroll. He'll stand on the podium tonight, P3 in the feature race in the Porsche. And
that's a good job from H.
yeah, he drove really consistently. He started third and hung on for that as well. And then Sam Collins will come home another Porsche in the top 4. Sam Collins for Sam Collins Motorsport P4 ahead of Brendan Jenner, who fights to the line here with Jordan Knockholz. He'll be ruining that issue of having to come in for a splash and dash. So Jenner gets 5th, Knockholz 6th, then Ryan Simpson will come home in 7th, another driver that had to 2-stop it. Ardley also 2-stopped it. He comes home in 8th ahead of Rue Koister, who gets 9th, and to round out your top 10, Ross Hansen. Good job in the Ford to get it up there into the top 10 tonight. That's great. Righto, we'll get some drivers in hopefully for some comments shortly. But thanks, Ash, for coming in for a chat, man, co-commentating the last part of that race. That was awesome.
No, thanks for having me, mate. It was good fun.
Awesome, man. Well, you take care, and we'll see you next round out at Phillip Island.
No worries. Thanks. I'll head off back into the driver's room.
Cheers, Ash. Cheers, mate. Ash McClurkin hanging out for a chat, and we'll wait for Benny Roberts, Brock Schaefer, and Hayden Carroll to come in to celebrate their win tonight. And what a good performance that was in the feature race from the Mini Muscle Cars car. And it looks like he's got enough fuel to bring it home right around to the pit lane as well. So that fuel saving didn't seem to be in play for him throughout the race, but obviously was. And Brock Schaefer, incredible final lap time there, a 2-minute flat .9. That's next level. Oh, they're going for the jump, these guys. That's what's going on. Bit of shenanigans. Oh, and he's put it in the fence too. So they put enough fuel in to get the jump. That's what they like to do. Ash is back. How was that, Ash? You see they're doing the jump down. Oh, he's gone again. Oh, there's carnage down here at the chase. What is going on? I'll try and spin this camera around and have a look. Anyone else coming down? Oh, someone didn't make it. Craziness. Let's have a quick look if we can pick up. I might get a replay of a few more of these guys. There's Hayden Carroll going down to the line. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to Roberts there. Where's Roberts? I'll scroll down a bit further. Here it is. It's Benny Roberts, I think, making the jump at the chase. No, that's Medicine. We'll try another one. Try this one. Nope, that's after it. So that's after he's already crashed. We'll roll it back because everyone wants to see this in super slow-mo to finish the night, right? Thanks, Jokin. And, what's all going on down there? Who was that? That was Tony Don. Okay, so that's definitely one for the replay reel. Let's have a look at Tony Don. So here's, first of all, super slow-mo here from Benjamin Roberts taking to the air. And where was Tony Don in all that? Because he's had a huge crash down there. We'll find him. There he is. So he was running down there. Benny Roberts has joined me, by the way. Benny, as we watch Tony Don smash his car to pieces down here at the chase. What a great race, man. Obviously strategy coming into it tonight, and you played that perfectly.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Actually, I've got to say, first of all, I'm pretty impressed from everyone in the field. That was a lot less chaos than I think a lot of us thought it was going to be. Yeah, so I knew I could make sort of the first sort of 15 laps, but if it went to a 30th lap, sort of it was going to be a bit touch and go. That's why I took it easy. Just getting through the field, just did my best to just hold my patience and try and keep out of trouble as best I can, even though I got caught up a couple of times, but a good race in the end.
Yeah, and the fuel strategy, man, having to save fuel. Were you doing much of it? Because Brock was definitely doing a lot of it on board.
So the first half of the race, I didn't really need to because I was stuck behind people anyway. But the second half of the race, I was lifting and coasting a little bit at the end of straights and coming down the hill.
Well, fantastic job, man, and good win tonight. We'll just try and grab the other guys in. We'll see if we can get Brock. They're making me work, these guys. I've got to go find them these days. So let me quickly go find Brock. And we'll move him down into the broadcast chat. So, oh, no, is he already here? Hello, Brock.
Hello.
Congratulations, mate. P2. The fuel-saving legend out there tonight. You were having to do it right throughout the whole race. And you showed your true pace on the final lap, too, with a 2:00.9 lap. But just needed probably a few more laps to catch Benny.
Yeah, I think my strategy would have worked, but I just got caught up in some dramas, which is all part of the fun. But it was a good race. I enjoyed it. Stayed out of trouble, and congrats to Ben.
Yeah, that little drama out of the elbow. We had Ash co-commentating for the majority of the second half of the race there. And yeah, he just lost the back end, and it was so hard. You had a split second to go left or right, and you went right, and that cost you heaps of time.
Yeah, but that's alright. It's all part of racing, and at least I didn't, like send him or anything, so I can't get in trouble, so it's good.
And what happened just after that? Because coming down Conroe, then you got your nose chopped off, which put you in the fence again.
Yeah, I don't know, some black Audi. I'm not sure what was going on. Maybe he was like making coffee or something. But yeah, that was a bit weird.
And Hayden, well done tonight, mate. P3, good drive. And you did it, you started from the pit lane or not? No, you started from P3, right?
Nah, I started from pit lane.
Thought you did, yeah. So, because you got a 2-stop strategy there, but obviously one of those is starting from the pits. So well done, man. P3.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I ran out of fuel right across the line, so I was thanking my lucky stars. But yeah, it was good fun going through the pack.
Yeah, it's a good racetrack and good racing tonight by everyone involved. Let's do thank you, starting with our race winner tonight, Benjamin Roberts, for the Mini Muscle Cars Machine Cult Ferrari. Who would you like to thank?
Big thanks to yourself, Luke, for broadcasting this. Ran for putting this on again. All the other competitors, Machine Cult, Mini Muscle Cars, Dandenong Brake and Clutch, all the other round sponsors as well.
Congratulations, mate. Great win tonight. P2, Brock, who would you like to thank?
Oh yeah, thanks to our Brewster Bros, Gold, Key, Cert 1, and Breakthrough, and Ran, and yourself, and everyone that raced and watched.
Good on you, mate. And then finally tonight, Hayden in the Porsche tonight for Machine Cult Motorsports. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank you for the... Oh, Jesus. I'd like to thank you for the stream, Rand for sponsoring me, and then for everyone for watching.
Absolute legend. Hey, Rand, welcome tonight. That was your top 3. Benjamin Roberts with the win. Brock Schaefer P2. Hayden Carroll, your top 3. Bathurst turning it on, as always, and a good race.
Was it exciting? It seemed exciting from some of the radio chatter about halfway through the race onwards.
It was great to watch, and some different strategies. There was some drivers there right at the end, Jordan being one of them, that had to dive in for that late splash and dash. So, they're right on the cusp. We saw anyone, I guess, that stopped before lap 14 were always going to be in fuel trouble. So, that made it exciting too.
It was a bit weird because it seemed like iRacing finished that race early to me.
No.
I know I was a lap down, but did Benny cross at 1 hour?
Yeah, he did. So he crossed the line for the white flag at 58 minutes and about 5 or so seconds. So.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just curious about that one.
Yeah, so right on 2 hours race length. But yeah, that strategy tonight was bang on making people work for it and making them save fuel. Otherwise, they'll force to a 2-stopper, which basically meant you're going to lose.
Yeah. But it was good. I'm glad that it was exciting. It certainly was some interesting things. I haven't heard any too much grumbling lately, but we had a little bit tonight, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But big thanks to DBC. I saw that Eddie was in having a chat, so hopefully everyone goes to Dandenong Brake and Clutch if they're in Dandenong.
Let's grab him quickly now whilst we're talking to him.
How'd you go, Eddie? You're in chat. You're in live.
I was doing good until somebody hit me.
Oh, mate, join the club. Join the club where we can have a drink and talk about people running into us.
Yeah, no, but I was doing so well. I was actually proud of myself.
Yeah, but I think, I think probably 85% to 90% of the people are driving as clean as they possibly can. It's always a couple.
I know where I got hit, it was weird. I don't know, I had to look at it. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. I fought back, it was alright.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you back and good to have Dandenong Brake and Clutch Enduro sponsorship for this round too. Thank you.
Oh, cool, no worries.
I'm trying to find that incident, Eddie. Do you know what lap it was on?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh, mate, Eddie will know exactly what time it was. It'll be in his diary, and it'll be a picture of like a shiv, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Was it near at the beginning? I don't know, maybe 10 minutes in or something. I don't know, really.
It was actually interesting. I had a look at what happened to me, even though I was further back, and I thought that young Lockie hit me, and he did, but it was because Ryan, who usually drives super clean, Ryan Simpson barreled down and hit him into me, and I was like, that isn't much fun. But anyway.
Yeah, we saw a few contacts tonight in that sense. I'm just trying to pick up a replay now of Eddie getting passed by about 6 or 7 cars, so I thought that might have been the moment. No, that's going into the pits, that's why that happened.
No, when I got hit, my steering wheel was like at 45 degrees, so I couldn't drive.
Right.
So that's why I went into pits, and then with frustration, even put tyres on. So I spent an extra 20 seconds in the pits.
Oh, yeah, I had some nice fresh rubber though.
Yeah, didn't mean much. But anyway, I fought back. I enjoyed it afterwards. Yeah, it is what it is. There it was. I think
Just after this, maybe. So we're just heading up. This is just the prior to your pit stop. So at this stage, I think your car's going all right. We'll just roll it for a little bit. We'll find it, Eddie. Was it up? Was it up here? Was it up here somewhere?
You nearly got it, Eddie.
No, I got hit on the last corner.
Oh, okay.
No, well, but I thought it was you and Benny, or was that?
Yeah, me and Benny. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah,
I think
he's
that's Kai.
no. Look, he's got Ben steering there. So we'll take it back here, and we'll go back to the last corner here. So here it is.
Oh, let's have a look at this.
Ooh,
Let's
was it
see.
Benny? I think.
Yeah, it was Benny. Yeah.
Let's see. All right, you're giving.
there you go.
Ah, yes. Okay, yeah, no, I do remember this now. We actually highlighted this earlier.
It's harder from that angle.
No, but I was like right on the edge of the track.
Here we go. This is the angle we want. Let's have a look. If this is Benny, Benny's done this before on this corner to someone. So he's just.
Yeah, Eddie held his line. So Eddie's held the line there.
I'm going to give this one to you, Eddie. You win.
Yeah.
Benny took you out.
I don't know why it happened. I thought maybe it was a net card or something, but yeah.
He was like, "Oh, that looks like my dad's Tirana. I'm going to have a closer look."
yeah, but it was just weird. I didn't expect that from Benny anyway. So anyway, shit happens.
Oh, you got to expect it from Benny. Benny drives pretty hard. He just pretends he doesn't.
Yeah, but as I said, I left him room. I let him go. He's faster. Go.
Yeah, I don't think he wouldn't have deliberately because there was no point in taking.
No, definitely not deliberately. But as I said, there was plenty of room there. Anyway.
There was a song I wrote once upon a time, and it's on Spotify, and it's called Bad Boy Benny. So we could probably say it's about Benny tonight if we wanted to. It's a good song, actually.
Would I get in trouble for playing that if I look it up quickly?
Nah, not at all. Zombie Motors Wrecking Yard is the name of the band, and I am one of the people that was in it, so I have ownership, part of the ownership anyway.
Is it called Bad Boy Benny?
Yeah, it's called Bad Boy Benny by Zombie Motors Wrecking Yard.
And Benny's BENNY?
Yeah, it is on there. I know.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to fight through Zombie Motors Wrecking Yard, which is very apt to this incident, I suppose, isn't it? It's a wrecking yard.
We got it on now. If I get a copyright strike, I'll be hitting you up.
Wonder if you will. Well, if you do, just say that you had permission, because I can jump in on that.
Awesome.
Easy.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Well, that band was signed to Napalm Records in Europe.
There you go.
A bit fancy,
We better not play too much of it then, because that'll definitely be they'll definitely get a strike from that. Yeah,
Well, I just tell them, I'm like, I'm the fucking.
But that's good, man. So yeah, good racing. Hey, we've got 2 more rounds. We've got Phillip Island and Winton, yeah, to go.
We do. We've got Phillip Island all-in-one motorsport beach party. And then instead of closing with Phillip Island, we're going to close with Winton, just to be different. The Rose City Rumble, which is pit stop model cars sponsored. So yeah, 2 good rounds coming up. It's been pretty cool doing just Aussie tracks, hey?
It's been awesome, man. So well done. Let's wrap it up there. We've got, obviously I'll put the final results up, but yeah, the feature race. Hey, I love this short sprint race too. That worked out really well, but the results for the feature, it came down to the wire. It was only 6 seconds between them, but 2 seconds of that was taken out on the last lap for Brock. So he showed some great form towards the end, but Roberts winning it by 6.3 over Schaefer and Carroll, your top 3. So thanks, boys, and thanks, Eddie, again.
No worries. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to see H and Sam there, because they occasionally complain that the Porsche's crap, but they're always up there, aren't they?
Yeah, look pretty good. Hey, we've got a different night. We do have Tuesday nights, don't we, for the next 2?
We do, I think, because your Wednesdays are, I don't know, I think you're...
Pro Series and IPRA. So.
Oh, so fancy people. No. We're very thankful that we can fit in, but yeah, definitely. So Tuesday nights for the next 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So awesome, man. All right, well, thank you, boys, and we'll see you in a week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Cheers. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and being part of this Australian Sports Sedans eSeries presentation. Round number 3, run and done. Season number 12. We'll catch you next time out. Big thanks to everyone that tuned in, of course, across Facebook, Twitch, and big thanks to Pete Ellenbogen. Spike got up with 300 stars tonight. Eddie as well. Neil Yates. Who else did we have there? We had Pete Ellenbogen, Keith Logan. Absolute legends. Till next time. We'll finish on the intro. It's a great song. Rand McClurkin put this song together. Check it out and good night.